idea of the snowfall amounts across all areas. The coastal flood warnings in effect for during the day tomorrow as the winds increase. It's kind of breezy at the shore now, but it's not nearly as strong as it's going to be tomorrow. 40 to 45 mile an hour winds, according to the Weather Service, with gusts to 50 miles an hour, plus storm warnings. And the times of the high tides are going to be crucial. Each high tide is going to be higher. So the one tonight, then the one tomorrow morning will be high, and the one tomorrow night may be the highest one. And we could get moderate to severe tidal flooding out of that. Now, wide view of the winter Doppler continuing to show that large area of snow goes all the way back. Look at this. Goes all the way back to Missouri and all the way down to North Carolina. We're getting some sleet even into South Carolina. North Carolina is filling in with moisture, and that's not necessarily a good sign because all of this has to come up to the north. That just shows how much longer we have to deal with this, and that's why we're upping the amounts. So if we get this, 20 to 25 inches now across the area, it looks like the average snowfall across most of our region may be 20 inches or more before this is all done. And remember, we've only had 3 storms in Philadelphia recorded history of over 20 inches. So this is a historic storm. And the last President's Day storm that was historic, that we've talked about for years, we had 14 inches out of that. We're going to get more out of this storm. 10 to 20, we've upped the amounts in the Poconos and points to the west. 14 to 20 south and east toward the shore, plus a mixing. So that may limit the total amount of snow that they get, but you're going to get a tremendous snowstorm in areas that don't normally get that to the south and east. Now, the wide view of the satellite and radar showing one area of moisture to the south, and there's the giant high to the north. Now, this is a really crucial player in this. It does several things. It fed down the cold air. It helps bring in some Atlantic moisture. It slows everything down. The storm takes time to move up to the north. So people talk about the lows and the storms and all that. The highs are every bit as important, the location and the strength of that. So that is a real player here. Now, the original low, now remember, we've been tracking this since in the Pacific Ocean, and now it's redeveloping now here off the North Carolina coast, starting to move up the coast. It's the difference in pressure between the high and the low that helps bring in more of that Atlantic moisture that's going to cause all those problems at the shore. As the low gets offshore here tomorrow, that's when we see the strongest winds. We're going to see the most intense beach erosion across the area. So this is going to be a really historic storm across the area, and we'll have more on that coming up in a few minutes, Larry.
All right, thank you very much, Glenn. We'll check back with you in just a little bit so you hear the snow total amounts, the expected snow total amounts have been upped from what we previously thought. Now, we want to go to Bucks County in Falls Township, where Joe Vasquez is standing by. Joe, you look like you're all alone out there.
Larry, it seems like I'm all alone. Actually, I'm going to ask Steve Gresham, our photographer, to turn the camera around. You might be able to see the plows that are now hitting the streets out here in Falls Township, lower Bucks County here. The plows have arrived. And here to help me explain the whole plowing process, whoops, we lost Steve Gresham, but he's back. Hey, it's slippery out here, you know what I mean? All right, this is Mark Hayworth. You're a private contractor, and you actually plow parking lots and smaller streets for the business owners. But help me out here. Right now, we've got 2 or 3 inches of snow on the main avenues right now. Yes. And we see the plows going by, but they're not putting salt or sand down right now on the flat surfaces. Explain that to me.
Well, it's not really doing anything right now because the snow is coming down too heavy to even help anything. So as soon as the snow lets up a little bit, they'll start salting it and open up the locations and stuff like that so the main roads stay open.
Now, you've been in the back streets over here. Explain to me what it's like. It's pretty bad driving conditions.
Well, yeah, it's just got the 3 inches of snow on it and packed over. It's a little slippery underneath. So for people driving over it, I just wouldn't really drive if you don't have to. Try and let us do all of our stuff that we have to do out here and get everything done. They're saying it's supposed to stay for the next day or so, so it's easier to probably just stay off the roads.
So at what point do you go in with the salt and the sand? Once the snow has subsided quite substantially?
Yeah, when it starts to get down to the fact where we're catching up on everything and being able to leave stuff open, that if we plow it, it doesn't get covered back up, then we'll come in with the salt and put it down and try and just keep everything open. Because if not, you can get the salt down now, it'll melt and refreeze, and then you're working with ice underneath of it.
For folks who are curious, you get paid by the hour, but the businesses that are doing this kind of private contracting, I mean, this is their time to rake it in, isn't it?
Yeah.